Walter Jordaan, Myplas Executive EPR Specialist, presenting Polyolefin Recycling Success Stories.
I believe it was Mark Twain that said that 99% of all people admit to having stage fright. The rest of the 1%, they're only liars. So bear with me, it's been some time since I've been on a stage like this. I agree with what has been said earlier, and I've been asked to talk about polyolefin successes. Sorry. I've been working at home, and I've been trying to get some sounds that sound familiar. So I had to have the generator in the background. It's not easy these days. This is my favorite car. I just love these 1976 Silver Shadows. And I remember my first employer, he had one. And I often slipped into the garage during the day and just sat into it. And I can still smell the leather and the interior. And still today I would like to have one. Eventually, a year later, my wife and I got married in that car. So I've been following their prices, their availability for the past few years. They're just becoming more scarce and even more expensive. So hopefully one day. But I've got a question for you. What have these two got in common? We can't find either of them. I can't. Chandra had just spoken about it. And there's been a drive in the United States that all the milk bottles, all the water bottles, all the juice bottles that's bottled in HDPE is clear. Even the caps are clear. There's no master batch in it, just to make it more recyclable. And having a better market, because a lot of them are going into food-grade applications. What makes me think, if I look at this, and we've seen this all over again, makes me think, why is this a landfill? Why does it call rubbish? Why is it waste? Why is it scrap? Why isn't it raw material? For us as recyclers, this is actually raw material. And I would actually think it's a sin if we can find one milk bottle in that pile. And the reason why that is, and that's what we believe, and that's what we changed our minds on, it's because we believe there's not enough demand. We had to start thinking about demand, and that's why I need to bring this up. Because just imagine if we've got more brand owners that would add some PCR in some packaging. Just imagine some more automotive manufacturers will add some more PCR. We really believe, I call it actually a distance problem. And the distance isn't between Cape Town and Joburg, where we are based. I call it a 45 centimeter distance, and it's from year to year. All of us, we're talking the talk, but we're not walking the walk. And that's where we saw, starting creating demand for PCR. We've been talking a lot with industry people, converters, brand owners. We had some successes. And maybe this talk shouldn't be going about the successes of polyolefin recycling, but more about the progress that we've made. Hopefully success will come. Products that's been used, that we worked on, there are some of them out there. Home care products, automotive parts. There's been some toys. We've really made some progress. And some brand owners started to talk to us. They've been trialing our material. We've had some approval. We also had some not so successful stories. But I mean, that's part of the growth. We've just to go through it. You see, we like to call it upcycling. We don't like to call it recycling. We like to think as we're creating new life, adding it into another product, closing the circle. It's not easy. But you know what? All of us are part of the solution. We're not part of the problem. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been there. We're excited about this. I also want to just mention equipment. Equipment is expensive, you just heard it. We need good equipment for good recycling results. They're extremely expensive. There's a delay in equipment now. You just heard 2 years. We've been ordering equipment. There's a lead time of 2.5 years of some of the stuff that we need. But if you look at equipment from your weighbridge right through the sorting facility, we go into the granulators, the washing, extrusion. From there, if you look at the equipment that we use in our laboratories, they're expensive. And I'll talk to it a little bit later on. All I want to mention here is Polyco. And I'll mention them again later on. If it wasn't for them, I don't think we would have made the progress that we've made up till now. The other thing I need to mention, need to mention change. We need to think different. We need to, and the change starts at ourselves. We had to start thinking different regarding our waste, plastics lying around, but ourselves, we needed to think different on our people that's working for us, management, middle management, even general workers, because we had to start investing in those changes into our people before we get to equipment. We've got a huge training budget, and often I would say to Johan, is it really necessary? Is it necessary to spend all this money? And he would often say to me, remember, the tide lifts all the boats. And we must remember that in our industry, when we collaborate, when we talk to each other, the tide lifts all the boats. It's not only one guy that benefits, it's all of us. The other thing that I need to mention is products. We need to think different about our products. We've got to change. The waste that's coming in through our gates is not waste, it's raw material. We handle it as such. You know, the recycling industry a few years back wasn't a clean and a very noble industry to be in, I would say. We are production facilities, and we need to see it that way. Even our products, you know, you've got to invest in laboratory equipment to test your material. You've got to go to your clients. You've got to find out what their needs are. What is the specs that they need for the material? Because if I can't supply them what they need, what's the use of trying to? In the old days, and I call it old days, 10 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, we would recycle different grades of HD, different grades of polypropylene, adding a little bit LD maybe to HD, whatever, and you will offer it to a client. You'll give him a sample and it'll work. The consistency wasn't there. But that's what you had. You had to make it work. That changed completely. Your client, your brand owner, he's the one that tells you what he wants, the color that he wants it, and that's what you all need to supply him. Now that adds to the costs. All those testing equipment, the laboratory equipment, it's expensive. There's two things that's very important in our products. The one is consistency and quality, and the other one is price. But it's only quality that's not negotiable. And that makes it challenging. You've seen what is the recycling capacity in the world, what is available. But getting all the equipment, getting everything ready to recycle, and then you've got to be at a percentage of virgin prices that makes it very difficult. We've often seen prices in Europe, and I know about in the UK, 30% of some of the products above virgin prices. That's hitting somebody with a stick to use your product. We would have loved to have the carrot and say, listen, this is the best way to do it. Use it, collaborate with us. But that's not always possible. And then I think this is the fourth point I want to make. I've dealt a little bit about demand. I've spoken about equipment, of change. I think partnerships of those four is the most important one. You've got to partner with your suppliers. You've got to partner with your customers. Partnerships, collaboration, we've heard it all today. That's extremely important. You know, partnerships, a lot of people would partner with us. And they would share your dreams, they would share your visions. They would warn you. They often give you money. But there's very little partners that will share in your risk, that really believe in you. And I think I just need to mention these two today. We've been journeying with Polyco for a very long time. They put their money where their mouth is. They've been helping us with equipment. Even our suppliers, they've been helping. And Petco, we've been journeying with them for some time now, developing products, also helping us, encouraging us. Because when often we're at an uphill, and then you've got to have some backup. And these two have really helped us. I want to show you this photo. Nico mentioned earlier today that children, they imitate champions. We should all be champions. You know why? Then I don't think we need to worry about the planet so much anymore, because they'll help us with the work. The one question that I want to ask you, have you found your place in the circle? Have you joined? And then I just want to thank you. Short. Thank you very much.